Written by the Prime Minister, delivered by the King. The first King's speech in 70 years has outlined what we can expect from Rishi Sunak in the year ahead. A morning of history then for both men. The state opening of Parliament was Mr Sunak's first and King Charles's first as monarch. It could be the last before the next general election. The King, a long-standing environmental campaigner, told MPs and peers that the government would support the future licensing of new oil and gas fields. He also announced tougher sentences for serious criminals and a promise of a ban on under-14s being able to ever buy cigarettes. We'll look at the political and historical significance of the speech with our political editor Robert Peston and our political correspondent Romney Weeks in just a moment. First, with the details of what was announced, here's our political correspondent Harry Horton.
The journey, the fanfare, the dress will all have felt familiar. Last year, in the late Queen's absence, then Prince Charles opened Parliament on his mother's behalf. Today, King Charles wore the robes and crown as monarch, the first king to open Parliament in 70 years.
Close the door!
The state opening is about ceremony. And some awkward small talk. First, a very personal reflection.
It is mindful of a legacy of service and devotion to this country set by my beloved mother, the late Queen, that I deliver this, the first King's speech in over 70 years. And my government's priority is to make the difficult but necessary long-term decisions to change this country for the better.
This environmentalist king read out the Prime Minister's new energy laws.
This bill will support the future licensing of new oil and gas fields, helping the country to transition to net zero by 2050 without adding undue burdens on households.
In other legislation, the government plans to reform the housing market, phase out smoking and strengthen the criminal justice system, including forcing criminals to attend their sentencing.
It's critically important that the judge, if he or she wants to get that person into court, and you think of the Thomas Cashman, Olivia Pratt-Corbell, or you're thinking of Lucy Letby, of course, with the young children who were killed. If the judge wants to get that person in court, he or she should have the power to order them to do so.
Labour says today's speech was a sign of a government running out of ideas.
This is Rishi Sunak's first and possibly only chance to change the laws of this country, and he doesn't seem to have all that much he wants to change. So I think we've got a Conservative government here that's really given up on governing, that are kind of weak, out of ideas and out of road.
This is one of Rishi Sunak's final big parliamentary events before a general election. King Charles's role here is done for another year. His next King's speech will likely be before a new set of MPs and possibly a new Prime Minister.